Gentlemen, good morning. All right, it's great to see you guys out there. I know you're joining us from all over the world. So please let me know in the comments where you're at, where you're from, and want to hear from you. I already saw quite a few of you guys out there. So go ahead and let's fill up that comment section. Let's jump in there. I see Jonathan. I know you're down in Australia. Kai, you're over in Europe. We got got quite a few guys. So I see John's out there. I see American Pride. I see Megazoid. Yeah, got a what is that? Power Ranger fan out there. So let us know where you guys are at. Renato, great to see you as well. Igor, Tony Longshore, Benjamin, Justice, Michael. Again, guys, let's get the location. So Jake the Cat Gamer, love it. Connor, Tristan. So we're going through on the back end. We're just making sure everything is coming through. Okay. So I do appreciate when you guys just, interact a bit. It lets us know that I'm coming through. If for some reason I drop off, don't worry about it. I will be back. I'll actually just have one of my special guests just continue to run the show. And we've got a number of people who are supposed to pop in this morning. I know Jane and Alyssa are sending them messages, just quick reminders. I think we've got, so we hope to see Alex Costa. So he should be getting here. We got Vladimir Ritchie. We'll see if Eric Bandholtz is able to make it in. He's over in Europe right now, traveling with his family. Should get Kirby Allison and Gen Z in a little bit later. And we've got Danny Vera and John Galfano over at 40 Over Fashion. So quite a few guys. We'll see if we can get, we'll see if we can get a few more to pop in. I got one gentleman actually waiting right now. He's down in Australia, and he's going to be joining us. So we had a good conversation a while back, and a lot of you guys may not know his channel. So see, can anyone guess who we got? The special guest out there. Let's just say he is into niche fragrances. So anyone know or can guess who this guy is? And speaking of niche fragrances, a lot of you guys know, or you can see it down there. We've currently got a deal going on while this video is live, and I'll keep it just a little bit past that, but really it's just going to be for the next few hours. If you wanted to ever grab our Mission Fragrance set, now is the time to do it. I've got $200 off using code MF200. Just go over to missionfragrances.com right now. And as you guys know, with our fragrances, this has been a passion project. Honor, courage, commitment. And they're really the first, I've never seen anyone else basically bring in scent conditioning and fragrances designed to make you feel a certain way in the sense of honor, courage, commitment. Somebody said the other day, the core values of the United States Navy, actually the Marine Corps. But yes, the Navy and the Marine Corps we're in the same department, but the Marines were like the men's department. The Navy, yeah, they give us no, we love the Navy. But seriously, I took those core values that I learned as an officer of Marines, honor, courage, commitment, and I wrapped them into a course that goes right with our fragrances. So you learn how to wear these fragrances and feel a certain way. Because that's, fragrances, that's one thing I love about them is they can put you in a mindset. They can really alter your mood without you having to, think about it. Coffee. Anyone else drinking a coffee this morning? Or I know you guys over down under are probably drinking, maybe had a little bit of wine or staying up a little bit late. But in any case, it's the smell of coffee actually that wakes people up because they condition themselves to it. And the idea is you can condition yourself to feel a little bit more alert, more focused, more aligned with your goals. With certain fragrances. So it's really interesting the way you can hijack the olfactory system. And if you got questions on that, let me know. But let's go through. Yes. So the crystal bottles, that's true, Renato. Did one of you guys, was that you that made that? Or somebody, they actually created a crystal set. So that was pretty cool. We do have a gold set, which is, I'm not going to talk about it too much because the first rule of the gold set is you don't talk about the gold set. Renato, the crystal set is out there, but we've also have gold sets. So if you have already purchased a Mission fragrance set, you are able to buy a gold set, which is a kind of a limited edition, just comes with a cool gold sleeve, and it actually has a different message. One thing that we did with our mission fragrances, which I really liked, is so if anyone's ever read any Stoics out there, any of you guys into Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus or any of the Greeks, or maybe, so I'm a huge, if you guys don't know, actually one of my degrees was philosophy. And one thing that we studied in philosophy is, you ever wonder why when you go to some of these like ancient sites, there's all these big busts, there's all these big statues. A lot of people think, oh, it's because somebody was wanting to be remembered throughout history and they had a big ego. That's why they had a statue made of themselves. Partly right there. But there is another part to those great statues, especially, to the gods or to people. It was to remind yourself of who you are and what you're capable of. And that's what I wanted with this, is that you have a reminder that you would put on your dresser, and you would just simply be able to walk by this, but it would be a subtle visual that you are a courageous, honorable, committed man. And that's why I've got that little saying there, honor your commitments and be courageous in the face of adversity. But the gold set actually has a different saying. It actually has become the man you know yourself to be, which many of you guys have probably heard me say on many of my videos. So good guys out there. All right, let me see. Yep, drinking. Let me see. What kind of coffee you guys drinking? Anyone? Yeah, somebody said, "What? Look at that! Look at that collection in the back." That's true. So you may remember that was in a thumbnail. I still haven't taken it apart, and so yeah, Dollar Dude, good to see you, man. Hey, so I got a couple special guests. I'm going to have them join us, and first up, gentleman that's been waiting out there, Marcelo. You good?
Antonio, yes, really good. I'm listening to all the things you're sharing with everybody. It's awesome.
Yeah, somebody said he's got a great collection. I'm like, wait till you see my special guest and what he's got laid out for you. Now, first up, again, did I pronounce it correctly, Marcelo, or is it Marcello?
Marcelo.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Marcelo.
I thought about our call. Like I have a friend and he goes by Marcello, or it's more like, but it's Italian, correct?
Yeah, well, it's a very Latin name. So
okay.
I was born in Argentina, Marcelo or Marcelo.
Okay.
The Italians say Marcello. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me. I mean, people call me Marcel.
Yeah, you're used to us Americans
Marcelo.
like butchering everything. It's like, as long as we get,
no.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me.
Good to see you, man. How are things? How's the family?
Good. I need to say thank you.
Okay.
I've been very excited about this setup here. To give everybody a bit of background, we connected at the start of the year. You sent me an email, and I was buzzing for months on that. And the fact that now I've been invited to be here on this live, I'm very grateful. Really, really grateful. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I love talking with other creators. So that's one thing a lot of people like. I know Aaron, he's out there. He's waiting to get in. I'll let you in, Mr. Marino. Like, here in a second. Get Frank. Bring Frank. Like, yeah, you'll find out who Frank is here in a second, guys. But yeah, it's cool to talk with other creators. In fact, Aaron Marino, who's waiting out there, I've known him. He was probably one of the first creators I really got to know. And he could probably tell everyone the story if you haven't heard, like how we met. But it always surprises me that more creators, we don't reach out to each other. And
right,
because we all go through this, this hard work, this creation process, which a lot of people see our videos, but they don't see the videos that we film that never make it, or they don't see the frustrations of like, does anyone care? Or, you get 100 comments and then you make the mistake of reading the one that's saying, like you're the one that's just tearing you up. And sometimes it bothers you. And so it's nice to be able to talk to other creators that are out there. Just doing cool stuff. But what are you wearing today?
I'm actually wearing a few fragrances. I've got, and can you see the collection? Because I didn't know what you wanted. So I've been reading as you've been speaking. I've been reading a lot of the comments coming through, and I made an assumption that you have a vast subscriber rate of different people at different stages. You know, people who are just wanting to smell
True.
nice, and then others who want to now expand their collection. So I'm a collector. I collect many things, and fragrances was one of those things that I collected before the channel.
And in day-to-day work, you're in the movie industry, right?
I am. So that's camera 2, and that's camera 3. So you can.
Man, look at that. He's got like 3 cameras going. I used to have a setup like that with multiple cameras.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, nowadays, I'm like, man, with 7 kids, you're lucky that I'm even like, I was like pulling myself out of bed. Aaron's just laughing because he's like, you don't have anything on me. I got 5 cats right here. Hey, do you mind? I'm gonna add Aaron really quick.
I love it.
Yeah. So Marcelo, keep going. Talking about, hey, Aaron, what's up, man? How are you?
What's up, Marcelo?
Have you met
Aaron?
Marcelo?
How you doing?
Aaron?
Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, actually, it's great to see you in this live, because I've been watching your videos, and I love your energy, man. You just you jump out of the screen.
Energy is a word. Being obnoxious is another way to put that. But you know, you were mentioning something about Antonio, and we'll pump his ego up a little bit because everybody needs it. But that was the thing about one thing about Antonio, like in today's world, right? Of everybody's kind of a little bit like in their own lane. They're in their own head. They're trying to do what they're trying to do. Yeah. You know, Antonio is one of the rare people that is incredibly selfless, and he truly just wants to meet and engage and connect amazing people and become friends with as many people as possible. And so like when you say that, like I totally get it, because when I got an email from Antonio, I was, you know, kind of buzzing, but my buzz was kind of like this dick, because he and I had been kind of like communicating a little bit. And real quick backstory. Back in the day, I wanted to start a membership-only website, and I thought I needed to create all this content. And at the time, you know, the Art of Manliness was out there. Antonio had he was prolific in terms of the amount of content that he was putting out for Brett McKay. And so I reached out to him and I said, hey, would you mind if I just used your articles for my website just so that they could, you know, have more information? And he said, no.
I don't remember this. Like,
oh, I probably could find the email.
Create your own.
He said no, and I was like, this jerk. And then a few months later, he reached out and was like, hey, I'm going to VidCon. Why don't you come and meet me? And at the time, I was very kind of like, I don't know. I don't like to travel. I also am very, you know, kind of, I used to have that more, not the abundance mindset, but what's the other one? The bad one?
Scarcity mindset.
Scarcity mindset. So I was like, what is this guy doing? What does he want to steal from me? And
you're not the first.
Yes, and that was really when everything changed for me, because, you know, I started to just have somebody that I could talk to, that I could engage with. And the one thing I will say, when I met Antonio, watching him work a room, one of his superpowers is engaging with people and making you feel super interesting. And so Antonio is absolutely better than what you see on camera, and he's just one of my best friends, and just can't tell you, Antonio, how much I appreciate having you in my life. So thank you. And now, Marcelo, welcome to the party.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's an honor to be here. For those who might not know, I'm in Melbourne, Australia. It's 11 o'clock here at night. So I knew that this was obviously directed to a US audience.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of Australians out there. You've got your fans.
Yeah, you know what?
You can see the comments. Like Renato loves you, man. He knows. They know about your stuff.
I did put a call out to to all the fans, all the people that are part of the NFC community. Yeah. And I said, look, I'm here. It would be great to have your support. And so I can see a number of them coming through. So I want to thank you to everybody who's out and supporting in this. So I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So Renato was saying, because it was those niche fragrances, he was saying a rose. I'm going to pull that one back up. A rose of a dangerous flamingo dancer. He got you on. You got him onto that one. I'm like, right. Yeah. These. So I mean, because you went from the movies is your main deal, but fragrances is a passion, and you said that you're wearing a few today, so you're like layering here.
No, well, what I did is because I was preparing for you and I was preparing for your audience, and I was making sure that I've got enough variety here for depending on where your subscribers or the people who are here might be on their journey. So I have a category or a rating system within the channel, which I say is a new recruit, and then a semi-pro, a veteran, 5-star general, and then the supreme leader who wears heavy ouds and leathers and smoky fragrances and all that sort of stuff. So I've got a few here. If you want me to maybe suggest a new recruit sort of fragrance.
Yeah, go for it. And Marcelo, can you real quick give the link to your, or just go ahead and say your channel? Alyssa will find that, and she's making sure that these comments are popping up. And oh, wait a minute, we've got one other person I'm going to add, because we got Mr. Eric Bandholz of Beard Brand. So Marcelo, do you know Eric? Oh, there we have a piglet spotting.
I don't know Eric.
Eric, Marcelo, Eric. So Eric is the founder of Beard Brand. Eric, he's been on Shark Tank only once, because Aaron Marino's been on twice. So I got to point that out. But
yeah.
When he
I've seen those. Yeah.
When he was on Shark Tank,
there's another company that I'm friends with that. So kind of I was on 3 times.
You were? Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the one that you and I lost money in.
Yes, that's right. We won't talk about that one. That's another video. I can teach you guys how to take $50,000 and turn it into zero. It's amazing. It's a unique skill set. Although Eric could beat that.
Yeah, 200K.
And how to blow it up. How to blow up literally the business. We know each other pretty well, Marcelo, as you could probably tell. But Eric, man, good to see you.
Good to see you. Happy to be here. And I'm in Denmark.
Yeah.
The land with no AC and hot weather, apparently.
How did you get such a cool backdrop? Like, is this the Airbnb you're at, or what?
Yeah. So the Airbnb, apparently they're like Pokemon. This is one of the kids' rooms. And it's a nice little place. You should come visit me.
I should. Aris, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I already met up with Rasmus of Slick Hair.
Yeah. So anyone out there know the guys over at Slick Hair? If you're an OG on YouTube, I know it seems like you're an OG if you've been, 7 or 8 years. But those guys were the original hair guys. And but Marcelo, I keep, we're probably not going to get super deep on fragrances here. This is more of just like a hangout to shoot the shit and
absolutely
get to know you guys.
Tell me what.
Hey,
you know what the best thing to do is maybe a question from one of your team there that from one of someone could write in what would they like to know about. I'm happy to share something. Yeah.
Sure. Hey guys, if you've got a fragrance question for Marcelo, not one for Aaron, because Aaron, although Aaron could give you answer a business question, if you want to know how to sell $100,000 in fragrance in a month, he can help you out with that, probably more. But Eric, how long are you there? Any big news?
I'll be here for about a month, and we'll head over to Legoland and Lego House, do that in a few weeks, and then just get away from the Austin heat is the big reason we're here, because it gets so hot in Austin that gotta get away.
So is Blue Stratos a good brand?
Good question. Awesome question. So when I first started, I was focusing on, I had a massive designer collection. In 2017, I discovered that there was a thing called niche perfumery. So these are now small batches. These are also, in some cases, only found in certain parts of the world. They're not mass produced in the sense of, I've got one brand here which only produces 400 units, period. This is an Argentinian brand. So Blue Stratos is more of an aquatic, very aromatic, very masculine fragrance. So what I would do is I would recommend to that person this fragrance here.
Okay.
And this is by a French house called Maison Francis Cujon. And the fragrance name is called Gentle Fluidity Silver. And this one here has, so the beautiful, and the reason why I fell in love with niche perfumery is that you have very clear opening sort of heart notes and then base notes. So it has an evolution. It has like a wave as it dries down and moves through. You're getting different parts of the fragrance. Rather than having a fragrance that just starts, in one place. This now, you find that niche perfumery does a lot of moving. I call it a dance. It does a beautiful dance. Now, this fragrance here is designed primarily for a man. So it's very aromatic, very woods-like when it finally dries down. It has a lot of sort of that masculine strength. But the beautiful thing about this is that it has a partner, which is Gentle Fluidity Gold. And believe it or not, the perfumer, his name is Francis Cujon, created the same notes. So he grabbed the same ingredients, but he now formulated in a different way so that the gold now has more of a vanilla touch and it's designed more for a woman.
Yeah.
And the silver is designed for a man.
I've seen these. They're actually pretty, I mean, in the United States, they're in Nordstrom's. I've seen them in a lot of our stores here. So I think that this is one that any guy watching can actually probably get his nose on if he looks for it.
Correct.
Now, I see Funk Roberts is out there. Hey, Funk, if you're still out there, Alyssa will reach out to you and, we'll get you a quick invite if you want to join us. Funk's got an amazing YouTube channel and he's, a great YouTuber as well. So it's cool to see, people out there, other YouTubers out there just saying hi and, but, well, cool. Well, hey, I got a question. Aaron, this one's tough. You see it right down there?
Where did Eric go?
Come on, he's got a connection issue, I'm sure. Yeah, he wouldn't just.
The cat's name is Piglet. That one is Piglet. She's my old lady. She's 16 and a half. There's Eric. And then I've got another one around here named Boo Boo. That Boo Boo. Come here. You want to say hey? This is Boo Boo. Hey. Anyway, they're the cats' names.
Yeah.
Don't tell. They're my wife's cats. I'll lose all my street cred if everybody knows that I'm a cat guy.
You are a cat guy. Can't get away from that. So what do you got going on this morning, Aaron? And did you already go for your run?
Me, yeah. I'm going for a run. And then I'm going to go be nosy. My neighbor's having an open house. And I want to go, snoop around his house. And then I'm going to go over to the new home I'm building and talk to the masons and micromanage everybody like I normally do. But yeah, no. And then I've just got some videos to edit. I lost my video editor. He ghosted me 2 days ago. So, it's just one of those things where you.
How long did you have that guy?
I've had a few of them, and they just this guy was over. I believe he was over in India, and he was starting to become really good, and I was paying him well. I mean, he was with the amount of videos that he was doing for me, he literally was doing pretty well, I thought. And he just, I don't know whether or not he's in the hospital or something, but he literally just ghosted me. And so I don't know, we'll see. But that's one of the things. For you guys out there, the business specifically, and even life, you are going to get punched in the face, and that's kind of being successful at anything is having the ability to kind of withstand the punches, get back up and just keep moving forward. It's been a really hard year for us, for everything, for businesses. And it's been a very hard business year for all of my businesses and companies. I'm sure Eric Van Holtz and Antonio,
I think, but let's put it in relative terms, because I think for maybe the average guy, that's out there, let's say earning 40,000, 50,000, they're like, what are you talking about? You see, but I think as a business owner, what we mean by hard is you go from making, your business is bringing in $1 million, which you do not keep close to, it's like you have salaries, you have payrolls, you've got expenses. So you've got a lot of money going out. And what's happened to a lot of us creators and business owners recently, and I'm not complaining because I view it as a challenge, but your business goes from doing let's say 2 million a year to all of a sudden you're doing $1 million, which still is a lot, but you've still got all these people on payroll. And I think the hard thing for a lot of us is when you have to make decisions about how are you going to pay people, you've got your own money, you start feeding right back into the business, which probably isn't a smart thing to do, but we've probably done it, some of us, and me included. And that's not always the best thing to do. And you feel alone sometimes, like you're captaining this ship. And again, that's why I like, conversations like this, because everyone here in this room right up here, like we've had to, we run businesses, or we've got our own deal, and we know what it's like, that being lonely and that captaining that ship. But
yeah, it's been hard. This has been a hard year. So for any of you guys out there that think it's just you, it's not. It's everybody. It's been a really, really hard year, and it's funny because with the pandemic and everything, that was hard, right? It was a different kind of hard. And businesses, depending on what business you were in, some businesses absolutely thrive. Other business during the time just saw incredible recession, right? But now you think, okay, everything's getting back to normal, and it's just really hard. And advertising is getting harder, traffic is getting more expensive. It's hard. But I'm not saying woe is me or anything like that, but I know that every single person on this call has faced struggle, and the thing that's going to set you apart, the winners and the losers, is the ability to not fall apart and really just focus and recalibrate and move on. Like Antonio said, his business in terms of his ad revenue from his website went drastically down because of this whole AI thing.
Yes. Which, yeah, and I can't, I understand people are going to do what they do, but yeah, now that people, and you guys have seen it probably in search, where you go and you type something in, and they're showing 60% of people are not clicking on anything because Google is feeding them the answer, but the answer they're feeding them is actually pulled from our websites. So it's one of those things that I think just the world has changed. And hey, Funk, really quick, want to thank you. And I sent you a email. Funk, check your email if you want to join us up here. I sent you the link to be able to join us here on StreamYard. But I know James out in Chicago, Gen Z, has joined us as well. So James, good to see you, man. Always looking
good morning.
Good.
How you doing?
What's up, James?
James, I know that you know Aaron. Yeah.
Briefly,
James.
we've never actually spoken before.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
So this is
All
the
right.
first time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a quick, and then Marcelo, he's down in Australia, and niche
James.
fragrance guy, also knows production. He's got 3 cameras set up, so he's going to put all of us to shame. And Eric Bandholz, have you met James?
No, good to meet you, man. And Marcelo,
too.
I gotta steal your camera setup. That's I got some YouTube envy right now looking at that.
Right. Okay. Well, I wasn't sure what it's always best to overdress than under. And I figured, in this thing, it's better to, I didn't know what was going to happen. So I just came prepared, basically.
Yeah. Aaron's looking at his t-shirts.
I know, that's covered with cat hair in my running shorts.
Well, we might as well add a 6. So Funk, good to see you, man.
Good to be here, guys. Good to be here.
Okay. So guys, I brought Funk on because if you don't know him, he's got a great fitness YouTube channel. But I think what impressed me from a business perspective is that Funk has been crushing it with YouTube ads and with memberships. And he's just, man, when I learned about your business, I was like, holy shit. And I have to thank you as well, Funk, because you also supported my business, Mission Fragrances, which, by the way, if you're just joining us, we do have, yeah. And I appreciate that, man. And that's one thing that's really cool. I think everyone in here, we support each other's businesses. That's one thing I think business owners get, and people don't understand. A lot of creators and YouTubers, like most of us are businesses, or we start thinking that way, and we love to support each other. And yeah, so the over 40 Alpha Brotherhood, I mean, it's so specific. It's like, hey, if you are a man over 40 and you want to get in shape, you are the person to speak to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. First and foremost, it's great to be on here with all of you. This is amazing, Eric, Sir Alpha M, been following you for a while, Marcello, of course, Antonio. And yeah, I mean, one of the things that I learned while, working with men over 40, I've got over 17,000 members, every month through the, nutrition, workouts, recovery, live coaching every week. But we were kind of the lost tribe, when it came to fitness. There's no information to help men specifically in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. Like you go in and you hear a lot of other fitness from women or for younger guys, but we're always left behind. And so we need specific workouts, and we need a nutrition that's going to help us naturally increase testosterone, our hormones. We need to focus a lot on the recovery piece, yoga, mobility, all of the things that we are not necessarily out there for us. So I created the brotherhood, and not just that, but to bring men together, all shapes, sizes, colors. I mean, we have men from all over the world who tell each other they love each other because we're all on the same journey just to transform our lives. Yeah, JV in the house. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's why I started it. I started also because I struggled when I was 39, going on 40, and I'm 55. So yeah, this is great to be
now,
here. And
behind you, those plaques, the ones that look like almost records, what are those? I've seen those all over, but is it ClickFunnels that you hand?
Yeah, those are 2cc club. 2cc ClickFunnels Awards. So
which basically means $1 million business, right?
$1 million in 1 year. So we did it 3 times with 3 different because I have different memberships. So we did that 3 times. Yeah.
Yep. They do a good job with those, because I started saying, you see them now all over, like in the ads and stuff, is like a verification that this business is crushing it.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work, like you said, and a lot of reinvesting into the business, because that's really where the growth comes from. Not really paying yourself right away, but it's also, for me, it's driven with passion. I did the way I created my membership is totally the opposite of everybody else. Everyone else is kind of like, oh, let me just put information up, and then people will go and try to figure things out. We did it totally differently. It's like you go in, everyone starts in the same place, phase 1. And then I do follow along workout videos. So literally every single video is a follow along workout. And I do live coaching every week. So it's not like high ticket. It's literally, I'm on there with the brothers for 2-3 hours a week, because I like to talk, as you're hearing right now, but I like to coach. I like to help. I like to answer questions. And so that is totally the opposite of everybody else. People are like, why do you offer a high ticket? Why do you do this? It's $29 to $49 a month. And these guys, our retention, which means the ability to keep people in our program, is like 90%. We have an extremely low churn rate, and that's just because the way it's set up, we help people transform, we help people get results, and that's really what we're all here trying to do, is help people transform their lives in some way. And when you can, then you get that tribe, right? You get people who will stick. You got guys who get tattoos, like it's crazy. It's great. It's crazy.
I love your space, because there's a lot of competition, as you know, but you can niche down and you solve a perpetual problem, as Russell Brunson would say. It's something that they're always like, it's not like you can stop working out and continue to get the same results. So your guy, and he needs that motivation. His body changes over time, and you are, a living testament that, hey, now one thing people don't know about Mr. Aaron is he owned a number of, well, some people do maybe, but you owned a number of fitness stores, and like you were in that space for a while, and you're actually going back to the late 90s. Your degree was or you have one of those certifications that actually means something.
I'm curious as to where you're going with this.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's one thing I've always loved about, like, every time I go to visit Aaron, like, we're active the entire time. It's not like 4 days of lounging. It's 4 days of every day is going to be a run, or it's going to be a walk. And, we're going to hit the gym, and it's active.
We got to get you swole, Antonio. Exactly. You got some noodle arms coming up now that you're past 40.
Yeah.
I'm not one to talk either. So if I'm talking,
no, you're not. But you're working with Barbell Logic still?
Yeah, I just did some squats and deadlifts this morning, a little bit of Oregon. So trying to not die is my goal. So I have pretty low expectations. But
what about you, Marcelo?
I can.
You got a workout plan or something? How do you stay active, stay in shape?
Every day something. So bike ride, and then yoga, and then just like pump session or something like that. So just try to. I think I might be the granddad of this group here. I have 5 grandchildren, so you gotta, at this age, you gotta stay fairly fit and watch what you eat and all that sort of stuff. So I'm hearing what Funk has to say, because I totally agree with it. So it's pretty awesome work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, the young buck here is James, man. Your idea of exercise is what, heading to the bar and meeting those American women, using that English accent
I
to be.
wish. The reality is more ground turkey and rice and push pull legs. But yeah.
No, how are things in Chicago, man? You good?
It's great. It's great. I will be honest, I didn't realize until I moved here that it gets humid in the summer. So I've been in for a little bit of a nasty surprise in that way. But yeah, I went full time with the YouTube a few weeks ago. So it's finally, I get to just do this all the time and put my entire life and effort into making the most exciting, most interesting, most useful videos that I can. So it's been
Well,
fantastic. Yeah.
you've got some guys here that have been doing the YouTube and had success with business. So,
Mm.
like, any questions, anything you're like trying to figure out right now?
I would like to ask Funk a little bit, actually. You mentioned the pricing of your membership is fairly low. What do you think have been the advantages to that? Because I'm also aware that if I'm going to create some kind of community, I don't want it to just be about making money. I want it to be something that's sustainable for people to be in for a very long time and really get some value out of.
Yeah, so for me, I kind of went the opposite. Again, most guys are looking at, the high ticket, but I knew that because of our focus was building a tribe, right? Building that tribe element, I knew that I would get volume as opposed to the 4 or 5 or 6 people to work with. And to tell you the truth, I don't like doing one-on-one and all of that stuff. I don't like that. I'd rather, work with a mass of people. But it's the tribe element. It's like you start here, you see the end, which is phase 12, but it's that transformation. So my focus is more transformation over transaction. And because of that, that forces me to ensure the value of what we give will get people results. Like literally, that's from our customer service team to the people who do our videos and everybody else. Our customers or members are always on our mind. And because of that, we always think about, okay, well, if I joined something, a membership, and how would I like to see that onboarding process? You know what I mean? So, what are things that I hate to see? What are things that would help me, get through it? And then think about the age group. Like we're talking 40s, 50s. Most of my guys are actually now 50s, 60s, and even now moving into the 70-year-olds who have transformed. And they do not come in ripped and shredded. These guys are coming in, so to answer your question, it's more about, if you think more about the transformation and getting those quick results, first, and then continuing to create things that will take them on a journey, as opposed to just here's all kinds of different programs and choose one. Well, they're coming to you because they don't know what to do. They need you to help them get started. Okay, now what do I do? Now what I would do? Now what do I do? But when you create something that everybody does at the same time, so what I mean is everyone starts in phase 1. So let's say there's somebody in phase 15. So that's one of my phases. If they see someone come day number 1 and they're coming on the Facebook group and saying, man, that workout was so hard. It was, all of this stuff. You're not going to get people going, suck it up, get over it. You're going to get people going, yes, I remember that workout, no problem, keep going. So there's always that connection because everyone's gone on the same journey. So when everyone goes on the same journey, they get results and transformation, and some will be different at different times. Doesn't matter if it's 49, 29, or 39, you will get the masses because of the transformation, right? That's the key, is getting people results. That's what we're all here for, no matter what we do. So that was the mindset for me.
100% results. And we have a special guest who just popped in. His name is Boo Boo. And he's sitting in Aaron's lap. But no, actually, Vlad, good to see you, man. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
If you guys don't know Vladimir Ritchie and his channel, it's really classic men's, where you made, I think, a dent because of shoes, where you focused initially, but now you've been growing, and you've also got a membership site that you launched earlier this year, and you've been just working with, I think, a number of men just wanting to improve their image, improve their style. And I think this is actually be great. If you haven't met Funk, you guys need to talk, because Funk's a little bit ahead of you, man, in terms of his membership size. But, I know that you two would complement each other, as well as, Vlad, if you haven't, do you know anyone else here?
Yeah, I've seen Alpha's videos before.
Well, Gen Z is right above you, or at least the way I'm looking at it.
Yep.
And then we got Marcelo. He's down in, Niche Fragrance down in Australia. And then we've got some bearded man, Eric Banda Holtz. He's, the urban beardsman. Oh, look at that.
Now I've got envy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely great to be here amongst you guys for sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I'll let you talk a little bit about kind of what you got going on and make a quick talk about, what you got going on in life.
Yeah, so the introduction was pretty spot on. I've been on YouTube since January 2019. My first video was called 8 menswear hacks in 90 seconds, but my second video was a shoe unboxing. And most of my videos after that point were really about shoes. I do talk about all of menswear, classic menswear to be exact, but I do feel like dressing well starts with your shoes. And those were the videos that were getting the most views for me. So I would say most of my videos probably have to do with shoes. Probably 50% of them, 55, 60% is about shoes. My framework is called the ground up method. So I teach men how to dress starting with their shoes. Once again, I think shoes are extremely important because you can't be well dressed if you don't have nice shoes on. That's how I feel about it. And yeah, I just started a membership back in February. February was like a soft launch where I was looking for 20 founding members. And then we closed it, but we just reopened it last month. The membership is called the Classic Menswear Hub.
Cool.
Let's do a shoe check.
Mm-hmm.
We're all rocking.
Thank you for that, Eric. Yeah.
I'm actually wearing Crocs myself right now, to be honest with you. So.
Let's see them. What color?
Oh, you can't ruin him like that, Eric. But hey, really quick, everybody. We're going to be dropping, Alyssa, if you don't mind, or Jane, if we can drop links to everyone's channel in the comments. That way you guys can go out there and explore their channels and check them out.
Thank you.
Yeah. But let's jump back over. Oh, go ahead, Marcel.
Can I answer some questions, Antonio? Because there was a few questions that came up on that earlier about what some of the things.
Yeah.
So for those who asked the question, Green Irish Tweed by Creed, I would recommend to you this one here instead. So I mentioned before, Maison Francis Cujon, Gentle Fluidity. All right. So I would recommend that to you. Then another question was asked for Xerjoff, which is this brand here. Should you get the Herba Pura or Herba Gold? Herba Gold is the one you want. All right. That's the one that's going to work best for summer. And then the last question that I got asked was a good fragrance note that I enjoy. And I'm going to dedicate this one to James. So this is a boozy fragrance, and this by a brand called Nasomato. Now, the beautiful thing about that is that you're getting a mixture of whiskey, honey, and rose with some other notes. And that evolution of that fragrance, the way it moves around, is exceptional. James, recommendation.
Like three of my favorite things put together.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, the brand is, as I mentioned, the brand is Nasomato, which means crazy nose in Italian. And the perfumer, his name is Alessandro Galtieri. So think of Andy Warhol, and now see him as a perfumer. That would be him here. Very potent fragrances. So you only need to spray 3, I would say, maximum, and that will last you 8+ hours. But this fragrance here is as a date night fragrance, as a going out fragrance to go to a public area. I would recommend to you. It's called Baraonda. All right, I'll show
I got
it to you again.
the Nasomato Black Afghano.
Yes,
and I absolutely love that one. It's so like dark and rich and.
Yeah, and the Black Afghano actually uses a cannabis note. It was the very first brand that actually used a cannabis note, and it's quite impressive, quite a beautiful fragrance.
I was laughing when you said potent because when I hang out with Antonio, I was going through his fragrance collection. All the ones he was like, "Don't spray that. We've got to go out." I'm like, psh, psh, psh. And yeah, I stank like some kind of feral animal when we'd be going to dinner in Wisconsin.
I've gotten through it too. Aaron kicked me out of his car.
Yeah, Antonio, I think his nose is broken.
I saw that over tobacco vanilla as well.
We'll
I
go
feel like
into
that's
Neiman Marcus, and and they'll be like, "Oh," because in his town he doesn't have a store typically that sells all these beautiful fragrances, and so he's spraying different fragrances like everywhere, and it's just it's a lot.
But he did. You made me. You're like, go in and wash yourself. I can't take it.
Wash up.
Well, you did a video, Antonio, where you said you want perfume to be a mystery, and I agree with you. So obviously here we're all saying the same thing, that when you put too much perfume on, you're stinking everybody out. So the subtlety of it is the beauty of it.
Watch out! I'm going to add Michelle to the chat here. Like,
that's his goal. Antonio doesn't want anyone close to him. He uses fragrance as a way to keep him away.
True.
Okay.
That's my tactic. Yeah, but good. Well, Vlad, man, how's everything else going? Your boys have been active with with camps, right?
Yeah, they really into basketball, man. So I have a 12-year-old and 11-year-old. My daughter's 6. She's probably going to be the best out of the 3 of them, but she's too young to actually get on the team right now. But yeah, the boys are really, really into basketball, man. I wish they would play the rest of the sports because they're athletes. Like they were good at soccer early on, but they only want to play basketball because all their friends really only play basketball. So I try to tell them, you're too young to just pigeonhole yourself into one sport, but at least they're really good at it. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
A lot of people try to compliment me thinking they get it from me. It's definitely not from me at all. I played soccer growing up. I'm from Haiti, so I wasn't good at basketball. Well, I thought I was good, and then I moved to the States and realized I wasn't good. But it's from my wife. My wife was a baller in her days, so yeah.
Yep. It's the wife's genes.
Absolutely. Not me. Always.
Yep. Well, I got to get out. I got to get Aaron out to back out to Wisconsin so he can spend time with his goddaughter. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm ready.
All right. You said it. So. Well, let's jump through. Let's look for some other questions. Alyssa, if you want to bring up some questions that anyone in the audience, was there anything else, Marcelo, that you remembered?
Well, I'm looking at a whole bunch of here where it's like, 8 to 10 sprays. Oof, my man.
Yeah, that's a little. Now, there was a question earlier about suit supply. There was a gentleman out there. So before we do Parfums de Marly Carlisle, which I absolutely love, you guys know it's one of my. If you're watching this and it's one of my top, or used to be one of my top 3 fragrances. I got so many now; it's hard to like. They're like kids. Like you just don't want to cut one off. But suit supply.
Real quick, Antonio, hold on. For you guys out there that haven't grabbed the Mission Fragrance set, I do want to just say, I think I saw that there's a discount up.
Yeah, we'll throw that discount up in a second. Yeah.
So just for you guys out there that are kind of on the fence, and we're talking a lot about fragrances, I have bought Antonio's set, and it is 3 amazing fragrances that you guys like.
I appreciate that. You did you were one of the first people as soon as we opened the first time you bought the set. So did
so if you guys are looking for just to treat yourself, or if you've got it makes a great gift as well because it comes in a beautiful package. It's got a great box, and these fragrances, they're nothing that's going to be like literally, they are like perfect fragrances. And I just wanted to say, guys out there looking for a fragrance, affordable, beautiful, long-lasting, projection monsters. They're just great fragrances. So buy them.
Thank you,
now. $200 off. It's an incredible deal.
Okay, I sent you the Venmo, by the way. Thanks, man.
You're welcome. No, I'm kidding.
Appreciate it, guys. So suits. Somebody asked that earlier. James, have you been in the suit supply recently in Chicago? Have you stopped?
Yeah, that comment kind of piqued my interest because I've thought about the little pick stitching on the edges of the jackets. I don't think it's that noticeable unless you're wearing it. I don't think other people can see it that well. So Agreed. For me, it's not a deal breaker for me.
Aaron, you're a suit supply.
I love suit supply in terms of best quality for the price. Styling is always on point. The stores are sexy. Like if you guys want to go into a store and just like have your mind blown, if you haven't been into a suit supply it'll literally make you want to dress better because like everything about it, right? There's nothing by accident in a Suit Supply. Everything from the colors of the fabrics, the sales associates are impeccably trained. And so any question you have, they're great at tailoring. The fabric is all incredible. And I personally think like if there was one store that I could have for the rest of my life and that was it, it would be Suit Supply. Just because they do such a great job. And it's not just suits. And that's one of the big misconceptions with the name Suit Supply. They've got beautiful polos, casual pants. They've got jeans. They've got sneakers. They've got just everything. And so I love Suit Supply. Can't say enough great stuff about Suit Supply.
Yeah.
Was that a sales pitch?
Yeah, that was, and go, and he's got a link with actually, they never gave us a discount code, did they? Did they? I don't think they ever did. It's just like, no.
And they're kind of like Thursday Boots, right? Where they don't offer discounts because they know, okay, we're going to come in and we're going to offer a superior or an incredible quality product for an incredibly fair price. And if you want to go and try, like I bought, and here's the story. I was going to be in a wedding. And so my buddy was like, oh, we're all getting Hugo Boss suits. And I thought, oh, Hugo Boss. I've heard of, that Hugo Boss is good. So I went to the Hugo Boss store, not going to buy like, a Hugo Boss suit in like a wherever, like department store. So I went and I got the suit. It took like 4 fittings. It didn't fit right. It just was kind of crappy. Didn't have functioning buttonholes. It just wasn't that great. I ended up going to Suit Supply because I was frustrated. I got a $550 tuxedo. It fit me perfectly, pretty much like off the rack. And the quality is so much better. And so, like if you're thinking about going like for a suit, you can get the same price suit at a Suit Supply as you can at like a Men's Warehouse, if not cheaper. And the quality is 10 times better. And they're cool. The fabrics are cool. It makes you want to dress up. Antonio, you are the biggest Suit Supply slut I know. Like,
it's true.
Like, seriously.
It's true. I would walk in there and they knew me, and because I just appear. I'm like that guy that in the Navy. I don't want to say anything that would get me in trouble here, but let's just say that when you pull into port after you've been out at sea for like 2 or 3 months at a time, like some of these guys go crazy in Thailand. I wasn't one of them, but it's kind of like that's how I was with Suit Supply though. Like, cause I don't get into a menswear store, but like twice a year. So I walk into that place and I'm just like, yeah, get me, I'll take 5 of those. I'll take 4 of those, and they're just like feeding me. And then I have it all just shipped. But so question for Funk. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Thai stretching massage services with regards to flexibility? Ooh.
Okay, this is kind of a little bit close to home because I used to be I was a 2-sport professional athlete. My second sport was I was a Muay Thai fighter at 40 years old in Thailand. So and also used to train fighters, UFC fighters, Muay Thai fighters, MMA fighters as well. And Thailand was kind of like every single year we would go to Thailand, and I started doing retreats. So Thai massage, and I know not stretching massage, but Thai massage was very key specifically for recovering after training and recovering after, fights, what have you. That's something that we all flock to because, you train in the morning, then you got to get a massage, and the next thing you know, you're training again in the afternoon. And one of the things, again, that I say to us guys who are in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s is anything you can do for recovery, for flexibility, for mobility works, because we're generally going at 0. Like, there's not many men our age who are just getting back into shape that go to yoga all the time or have a mobility coach or do mobility so that they can recover and not get injured, who use their some people work in places that give them like benefits to go get massages and things. Guys generally don't use those things. So I have not done Thai stretching massage specifically for flexibility. 100% it would be great for recovery, but I would also add things like a range of motion, stretching, mobility to open up, the open up our thoracic spine so that we're not always switching over. So I again, that is great. And I think that, starting with Thai massage, stretching massage is one element. And again, we don't want to go from 0 to hero and just add all kinds of things all at once. But once you get comfortable with the Thai massage stretching, or Thai stretch massage, then add something, add another element, add something you've never done before, like yoga, like Pilates, like mobility, which I think is probably the best one. But yes, I think this is great. And I applaud any man who does this type of stuff, because this is what longevity is all about. When you get to, like before, when I was in my early 40s, I was training Muay Thai and training fighters and doing burpees and doing all of these things. When you get to 50, you're still kind of hanging on to that. It's great. But, I got guys in my membership who are 60s and 70s, and the mindset shifts to not about getting jacked, ripped, and shredded, but about being able to get up every day and not have soreness and be able to hike, be able to run around with your grandchildren. I mean, Marcello, you got 4, I think you said. You got to keep up with all 4, right? 6. Okay. 6. So being able to keep up with them, plus getting them on your back and doing push-ups, plus going on a hike, plus doing all of these things without, saying, oh man, I just can't even walk up the stairs because of my knee, or I got a back injury or shoulder injury, which most of us are coming in with, right? When we're starting back, we usually have, I got my shoulders are all jacked up because of the sports that I played, knees, hips, back, which is even more important to implement these not sexy, kind of like, oh man, this is humbling, very humbling when you're doing yoga and you've never done yoga. Any mobility, anything is going to be very humbling, but that is what's going to keep us, going to the gym and enjoying life and functioning just even at work without having, pain or stiffness. It's those things. So I think you're spot on with the Thai massage stretching. I don't know Thai massage stretching. I definitely know Thai massage.
I didn't expect that detailed of an answer, but I love it that we have like experts like that. Aaron, what do you want to jump in?
I've got to run. I've got to call. I got to hop on. But
Aaron, I want you on my podcast, please.
What'd you say?
I need you on my podcast. My alpha men want to hear from you.
Whenever you're ready, just tell Antonio and he'll connect.
Yeah, I'll put you guys in touch. I'll put you guys in touch with you. All
right, perfect. Later, guys. Great Saturday.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, so we got a question about style. Maybe Vlad, you want to jump on this one? Why is classic style important in the world now? And maybe James, you can add something too.
Sure. Well, it's because it saves you so much headaches, because you don't really have to worry about what trend is coming out next fall, so it really ends up saving you money at the end of the day. And to me, it's also because you always in style, so for example, like I get people asking me, people still wear cuffs, because I always wear 2-inch cuffs on my trousers, and I have to tell them cuffs never went anywhere when it comes to classic style. If you're following fashion and you subscribe to the GQ aesthetic, then yes, certain things go in and out of style. But when we're talking about classic style, you never have to worry about those things, so it makes it a lot easier. Saves you money once again, and you don't have to worry about what's in and what's out. It's always in. So to me, that's why it's important.
I would add to that. I think it gives men a way to dress that they can be proud of. I was speaking with a friend of mine the other day about how he got interested in this kind of world, and he said, I was sitting at my home, working from home, wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt, and I just didn't feel like a man. So it's also an avenue for men to express themselves with clothing in a way that's actually masculine and feels empowering, rather than trying to copy what you see in the magazine, trying to follow streetwear. It's something that feels like kind of like you're going back several decades, but it's still timeless now.
Can I add one point, Antonio, to this? Now, I have a feeling I'm gonna make a lot of American people upset with me, because the last thing I feel that needs to happen here is a good fragrance needs to supports now this whole ensemble. When someone sees you, they'll see this classy dressed man, but then as they draw close to you, they'll get the scent profile that is your fragrance. And the key is not to overpower them, it's more a mystery than it is herald your presence. And I know that I have a number of American friends who really like to spray a lot. I always say 3 sprays is more than enough. 3 sprays with an eau de parfum will be plenty to take you for 8+ hours without a problem. And I always recommend put it on your stomach, put it on your solar plex, and put it on your arm as you move around. And that will be more than enough for that fragrance to move around you. And I again, a good classy fragrance is like the cherry on top of a really well-dressed man.
We do the same thing over at Beard Brand. We tell our customers, and the way we develop our fragrances as well is the fragrance is for you and those close to you.
Right.
Is kind of how you want to think about it. It's not for the whole room. You don't want to force people to smell you if they don't want to. Right. So you want the people who are close to you.
And one thing that you've done really well, Eric, over at Beard Brand is you've developed it so that all of your products work. So somebody could be wearing, because I get that question a lot. Hey, if I'm going to be wearing a deodorant, I'm going to be wearing a beard oil, or and I want it to match my fragrance. You actually have it set so that all of those smell the same, and that you can get them to work with each other seamlessly.
Yeah, we coined the term scent confusion when you're wearing a lot of different fragrances. If your shampoo doesn't match your cologne, doesn't match your deodorant, you end up having like all these conflicting fragrances. So Beard Brand has pretty much the core grooming line, shampoo, conditioner, beard oil, moisturizers, balms, styling products as well, sea salt spray and styling paste, and our deodorant, which we'll be relaunching this year as well. So you can pretty much like layer all your basics, smell great, and then and scent confusion.
I just wanted to add something to
really?
that I saw. And sorry.
No, really quick. I wanted to.
Yeah.
I'm going to really quick. I want to introduce Jeff. So he's been quietly lurking out there. So if you guys don't know, Jeff,
good morning, salutations.
Good to see you, man. Good to have you here. It's been a while, but
it's been a little while.
Yeah, you missed Alpha, so you didn't miss too much. Alpha M was here. Yeah, we kicked Aaron out. We're like, come on, we gotta bring in the real men. So, Aaron, if you're out there, we're always poking fun of you. But yeah, good to have you here, Jeff. Good to see you, and I'll interject you into the conversation here in a second. But James, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no problem. One thing that I saw you mention, which I think is an interesting counterpoint to this, is the idea of you could be in a coffee shop and a girl has got her head down in a book and not notice you, however tremendously you're dressed. But if she smells you, then she'll be looking up, and you can catch people's attention with fragrance that way as well.
I've been in situations
that's no good if you're married, man.
That's even better if you're married.
Yeah, I've been in situations where in mid-conversation, and this is with a group of people, and somebody will go, I don't know who smells great, but I'm smelling a perfume. So it's very subtle, and it's the whole idea is really about mystery, and then getting that person to draw closer to you to find out actually it is you that's wearing that fragrance.
Yeah. So really quick, there's a question in here about, can shoulders be tailored in dress shirts? And the answer is with difficulty. You can do it, but at that point you might as well have a new shirt made. So quick answer to that one. But Jeff, man, I'll let you, Jeff, do you know Funk? Do you know Vlad? Do you know Marcelo? I know you know Eric.
Of course, okay. I know Eric. I watch Vladimir's channel. I watched several of his videos. Does an excellent job. Excellent job.
Thank you.
And I've just become acquainted with Gent Z's channel. So doing an excellent job as well. So I'm very impressed with what I've seen. This is my first time being introduced to funk, but what I've heard, I probably need to sign up. I'm in that over 40 club, so especially for the flexibility part. But one thing I wanted to add about the classic dressing, which I try to stress to guys a lot, especially Americans. I'll speak for Americans especially. I have a 22-year-old son. we can often wear the same outfit and not seem out of place. So what I encourage adult men like us, wearing a suit enables you to distinguish yourself from the rest of society. A man in a suit is going to be expected to be seen. A woman doesn't necessarily wear a suit. A teenager doesn't wear a suit. Kids don't wear suits. So I think just the classic tailoring in menswear allows you to, as my man from Gen Z said, allows you to express masculinity. That's one of the things I love about wearing a suit. I feel like more of a man when I show up dressed that way. And for me, style is an expression. It's how you want to present yourself to the world. So I want people to know I'm not the same as my son, even though we both can throw on some Jordans, some jeans, and a leather jacket. There's times when I need to distinguish myself from a 20-year-old. And to me, classic menswear is one of the easiest ways to distinguish yourself in society as an adult man.
Facts.
I love it. Can I just add something there? This is incredible because one of the things, just like Robert Sergo just said, in my program, guys, they completely transform their bodies, right? They're losing weight, but they're transforming the look, a little bit more muscular, but they still have the same old mindset of the clothes that they wear. And, for me, I love wearing suits. I think because everyone sees me with the sleeveless and all of these things, they just assume that if I show up for, a talk, or if I show up to an event, I'm going to probably be wearing, something to show off my muscles. But on the opposite, it's actually a suit, actually good shoes. And that not only makes me feel like more of a man, right? Like, this like what we're doing in the gym is in the gym, but outside of the gym or outside of my workouts, this is the alpha man work here. You got to look the part. And I think all of you on here is a perfect kind of union for the guys that I work with, because as I mentioned, it's the fashion that most men my age, 40, 50, 67, they don't really know. They haven't captured that. They don't, they've just been head down, going to work, and then now they're getting in better shape. Now they're looking better. For those who have just been divorced or single, they're trying to get back out in the world, but they're still dressing the same way. They're still, kind of wearing the same crappy shoes, or not, taking pride in what they're wearing. Or even, I got a lot of bearded guys in my program, right? Just all of that ties in with all of you. So at some point, I definitely want to have all of you guys speaking on my podcast. But I think that men listening to this right now, it is extremely important to style yourself outside of, every day. It makes a massive difference. A massive.
I want to piggyback on one thing Vladimir said earlier that I think a lot of guys don't realize. Dressing in a classic menswear is actually easier. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more of a no-brainer way to dress. I tell a guy, if you have a white dress shirt, a blue dress shirt, and a blue tie, you can rotate that around almost every suit you have. If the suit, buy several suits. If the fabric and the pants are similar in one, you can mix it and match it with a different suit, a navy blazer, and it never goes out of style. If I'm running late and I don't know what to wear, I'll throw on a suit because it already knows it matches. So for a lot of guys, no matter what we do, we don't want to look foolish. We don't want to make mistakes. You're less likely to make a mistake throwing on a suit as you will trying to throw on some streetwear or something trendy or throw on something that's underdressed. So not only will you look better, it's easier to do.
Yeah, 100%, man. And a friend of mine told me, he's like, yo, with your style, you look like you can get dressed in the dark. And I tell people I've never tried it, but he's not lying, because that's the way that my wardrobe is set up. I don't have to worry about, what's going to go with what, because it's curated in a way where everything is pretty much going to go with each other. So like Jeff says, man, it's a lot easier to follow a classic menswear aesthetic than to try to, overdo it.
Really quick, guys, I want to introduce another Longhorn and a friend of mine for a long time. So I met Kirby years ago when I was running a company called A Tailored Suit. And we've stayed in touch, and he's down. Kirby, I still think you're down in Dallas area, right?
Yep, here in Dallas.
It's Dallas, and he's got a great channel, which I know a lot of you guys know. But what's funny is it's amazing because I can tell I've been online for a long, because I remember you had this idea about a channel and you wanted to talk about the finer things in menswear and take it to this whole, and you ran with it. And you also did something really interesting. You were the master of live video for like 2 years. And I think you really cut your teeth in the ability to have stage presence and be able to talk right off the cuff, just simply with that. But it started with the Hanger Project, which, in case you guys don't know, when he was a student at the University of Texas, he took a class on suit making. You made a suit, and then you were like, why aren't there good hangers to put my suit on? And that was wasn't that started your first business, the Hanger Project.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe it started all the way back then, but yeah, it's been an incredible journey. Exploring the world of quality craftsmanship and tradition, as everyone is probably used to me saying. But I think that jumping on here, I think that the sentiments that have been echoed so far, I think, couldn't be more spot on. I think it's a major misperception out there that dressing up and dressing well requires more effort. And I think the dirty little secret is that for many of us, we see it as kind of a cheat code of actually spending less time and energy to get dressed in the morning and to do it, with greater results, right? Because it's certainly not more effort than everyone else. And I think that that's the beauty of a classic wardrobe, is the ease at which one can go into their closet and pull out items that work together and look great.
Kirby, how do you wear a suit in Texas? I'm down in Austin, Texas.
Yeah,
well, the idea of wearing a suit during the summer
with air conditioning.
You just don't go outside.
I mean, again, I think one of the other, as long as it's, I mean, look, I'm not wearing much wool in a Texas summer, but the layer and a nice linen suit is can actually be quite cool, right? I mean, you're still going to sweat, but nobody sees you sweating because you've got a beautiful jacket on.
So is the whole suit and the shirt linen, or like, how does that work?
I mean, it doesn't have to be, right? I mean, a lot of like linen cotton blends, linen wool blends, linen silk, and then a nice cotton shirt. I mean,
and you just let it get wrinkly? Is that the key as well?
Well, I mean, if you have a heavyweight linen, it doesn't wrinkle as much as a super lightweight. And, one of the other, keys is that if you're wearing 100% natural fiber clothing, it breathes better and stays cooler than most of the stuff that you're buying that has any type of polyester in it.
Another thing with that is you become acclimated. I mean, if you go to the Middle East, everyone has all of their, I mean, they're wearing what looks to be a lot of clothing, but it flows on them well, and it protects them from the elements in the sun. And they're just acclimated to wearing that type of clothing. And it does a great job of protecting them. Like, they don't have to wear as much sunblock, and they actually are very comfortable going in and out of buildings. And again, the Middle East, my times they're just seeing, really, how they can cover themselves fully. It's an American, I mean, throughout most of the world, throughout hot summers down in Mexico, men they don't wear shorts like they do. That's a child's garb. Throughout most.
What about Bermuda style? They wear shorts, don't they?
True.
Like the tall socks.
Yeah, but those tall socks though, so they show the knees because that's the sexy part.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I find that, I very rarely wear a short sleeved shirt, because in a Texas summer, you're much cooler and much better off wearing a long sleeve shirt, because your arms aren't going to absorb the radiant energy from the sun. And so, again, there's a degree of acclimating to it, right? But, I find that, that dressing up and kind of covering yourself, you're cooler than most people that are in shorts and T-shirts.
So we did get a question I wanted to answer for really quick, and that is, so what would be the suit colors to start with? I do lean towards navy and dark grays. Anyone else got an opinion on this? If you're going to start for a beginner.
I think that he said it right as far as navy and charcoal. because those are going to be your most versatile colors. But medium gray is a pretty good color as well. And also I like different shades of brown also. But those would be where I would start, because a lot of guys think they have to start with black. My thing is, if you're going to wear black, make it maybe your 11th suit, not like your third or fourth suit. And then you get different types of grays and different types of navies. Like you can get a plain navy, you can get a charcoal. I mean, you can get a bird's eye navy, you can get a herringbone navy. They're all navy, but they're different. You know what I mean? And depending on where you live, you're going to have different fabrics that go with the climate that you're in. But yeah, like keep black, like to like the 11 suit, and then get like multiple navies and grays and browns would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, is that navy and gray are the ones that everyone goes to because they are so foundational, but you can mix it up by adding visual texture and other secondary colors while still staying within the navy and gray palette. My recommendation for most men is to not just go for a simple plain kind of worsted wool navy or gray suit, but to instead start with something that has a small herringbone weave into it. It gives visual texture to an otherwise solid suit that makes it more interesting, in my opinion. And so that's a way that you can start with something that's still foundational, but make it more than just a plain navy suit.
Can I throw in some perfumes with those suits?
Do it.
Absolutely.
All right. So this is for your northern hemisphere. So nice and summery. So I always recommend a man should wear a beautiful rose fragrance. So this is Radical Rose. Now, it's like a vintage, meaning that the perfumer, his name is Aurélien Guichard, Frenchman. He has his own organic farm, and whatever he pulls from his farm is what he creates for that year, okay? So you'll find that he won't mix roses from any other farm. So I would recommend Radical Rose for a man. It works really, really well. And then the other one is a Creed, which is Royal Oud. Now, people are scared of the word oud, thinking it's very fecal and barnyard, but Royal Oud actually leans more on the cedar side of the fragrance. So you have this beautiful masculine aromatic fragrance. It commands attention. It's such a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. So that's for summer. For winter, if you got cooler weather, then I would recommend to you. One is called, this is an American brand called The Harmonist, and this is Golden Woods. This is absolutely spectacular. Such a beautiful honey. There are wood notes in there, beautiful with a suit on. And the other one is a Xerjoff, another floral that I would recommend, and it's called 400. And 400 has a mixture of different floral bouquets, but it also has like a honey, woody note on the base. I'm wearing that. That's what I'm wearing today. That was to answer your question earlier. And it has been spectacular. It's been very cold here. And that fragrance has lasted on my skin 10 plus hours. I can still smell it. It's midnight here. I sprayed it this morning. So it would have been about, say 9 a.m., 10 a.m. And I can still smell the fragrance on me. So there are 4 fragrances there that I would recommend to you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, hey, I'm about to add on another camera guy, and he's out, I believe, in California, and he's had a channel that popped on my attention a while back. And yeah, so let me go ahead and we're going to bring Danny on.
Yo.
Hey, man.
Guys?
What's up? So I think, do you know any of the guys here? Do you know Funk? Do you know Vlad? Do you know James Kirby? Or
not personally. As a fan, yes. I'm in the presence of legends, so it's an honor to be here. But I don't know anybody personally. No.
Oh, all right. Well, now you've met everybody, and again, guys, I'll follow up. I'll make sure we all get each other's contact after this. But I love bringing together creators that are doing cool stuff. And Danny, I'll let you talk a little bit about your background and what you got going on in your channel.
Yeah, so I started this channel just over a year ago. Actually, 2 weeks ago was the year mark. I've been able to grow to about 55,000, 56,000 subs in a year. I originally started out with kind of more of a broad, like men's self-improvement approach. I was talking about fashion, fitness, and dating stuff, but a lot of the dating stuff, the fashion and fitness stuff did well too, but dating seems to be like kind of the biggest pain point. So I've really started to niche down towards that. There's a pretty big dating crisis in the world right now. So it seems like the most helpful thing to provide you guys, but I still incorporate fitness and fashion, everything within that, because it's so important for your appearance and health and everything, you know?
Well, dude, man, I appreciate you being here. And so if anyone's got questions, like one thing interesting, so you've got a video background, like, and you work with models as well. And so I thought that was a really interesting point. You didn't start off like talking about men's style. You talk, but you had success talking about that, some of your most popular videos. But yeah, you've been talking a lot about relationships as well now.
Right. Yeah. You kind of broke up there for a second, or it might have been my connection. I don't know if you broke up to anybody else. So could you repeat what
it's probably me. It was all bad. It was all horrible stuff about it. But no, seriously, it was
skip it then. Forget it.
It was it was talking about kind of the direction you've been going with your channel that you work with, that you kind of started really going down the relationship route.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's anytime I posted some type of like dating or relationship video, it would just spike up in views right away. And it's something that I've been into myself, even on the side, for years. I've always been interested in like relationship dynamics, psychology, how things just like work together and connect. So even if I wasn't making content on this, I would be reading books or talking with people. I kind of ended up always being that friend too, that, you know, if someone needed advice, just because of my own dating experience and relationship experience, I kind of just took a natural, I gravitated towards that naturally in my own life. And friends around me started telling me, like, you should write like a book or something on this, you know? And I have a video background though. So I was like, well, I don't know about a book, but let's try a YouTube channel. So here we are.
Now, so we've got a lot of creators. Pretty much everyone here is on YouTube. I'd like to get your guys' thoughts. I know some of us are pessimistic about YouTube. Some of us are like optimistic about YouTube. Like, what do you see? Anything big on any opinions on the future of YouTube here?
This is a bloodbath. It's an absolute bloodbath. I don't know how it's going to respond to TikTok and the change in market. I know they tried the shorts, but it just feels like they're losing in the marketplace, and subsequently people aren't going to YouTube like they used to, in my opinion. And I also think like channels like Mr. Beast have like elevated YouTube so much that it's really hard to create content in today's environment. It just feels like it has to be a really large production. And there's not really that room on the platform anymore for just authentic content creators. Maybe I'm biased because we're struggling right now with our YouTube channel, but yeah, it's a tough period out there.
I mean, I kind of feel as though that YouTube favors upstarts, Eric. And so I think, you know, established brands like ours that have been on YouTube for a long time, you know, have to work harder to get the penetration with the algorithm than new upstarts that are jumping on to YouTube for the first time. I mean, I find myself, you know, in a love-hate relationship with YouTube because, you know, we originally went on YouTube to, in some ways, bias freedom from Google search. And now I find that I'm just, you know, captive to the YouTube algorithm. So it's like trading one God for another. But that said, I mean, there's no other platform that rivals YouTube's ability to reach an audience. I mean, TikTok, yeah, it's a great platform, but it's still short form. And if you're looking to do long form content, there's just nothing out there that gives you the reach of YouTube. And we've looked into kind of, you know, doing a direct distribution model, right? And the reality is that, you know, creating an audience like that, which you get, you know, out of the box immediately with YouTube, is exceptionally difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a great platform. I just wonder what the future will be like. You know, like, will they be able to? I don't know.
I think it's the ultimate platform. Actually, I'm optimistic about it because I don't think anything compares. I think short form is very disposable. I think it's very forgettable. Usually for myself, if I have friends of mine recommend like a product or something, it's usually coming from YouTube. It's from hours spent watching long form content of somebody. You get to know them more. You feel more of a connection with them. The products that I've personally bought online, at least from creators, they always come from YouTube. They never come from like TikTok or Instagram or anything like that. In fact, if you think to your own habits, your own psychology with consumption, you probably do watch short form content sometimes, but can you really remember any videos that you watched yesterday or the last 7 days? I know I watched something, I just don't know what it was. But I know some YouTube channels I've been watching lately and spending a lot of time with them, and they really stick out in my head as something notable. So I think it's tough for anyone to rival YouTube's ability to like nurture relationships with their audience through long form content, because nothing else gives you that much of an in-depth dive with someone or that much time spent with someone. And the other thing about it too is I think there's statistics that you have to spend like 4 to 7 hours with someone before they buy on average. You can produce a million TikToks to hopefully get to that 4 to 7 hours, but long form is going to get you there a lot faster.
Yeah,
I've been finding.
Sorry, go on, Marcello.
So really quickly, I've been finding that, and I'm so compared to a lot of you gentlemen here, I'm very new to the game also, similar to Danny, and I've been finding that YouTube gives me the chance to build a community. I was doing some work in TikTok, but I found that as has been said, it was very disposable. Whereas I feel like the community that lives within my YouTube channel is something that's a lot more personable, and that's what I'm enjoying. So for me, to find people who are like-minded, I'm finding them more on YouTube than I have on the other platforms so far.
Mm-hmm. The quality of discussion on YouTube as well is just unparalleled compared to other platforms. I mean, this meeting today is an example of that. I don't think that many TikTokers get together and have these kind of events, and like the quality of conversation I have in the YouTube comments, it's respectful, it's a polite debate, and it's very intellectual. Whereas when I open TikTok, I almost never do, but I almost have an allergic reaction to the comments because it's just nonsense, basically.
Yeah, I agree with all of you, Danny, specifically with what you said. So I've been on YouTube since pretty much when it first started. I was shooting videos, in my basement, workout videos in my basement in the dark. And as you can see, as a Black man, very difficult to see. But I just shot content and just did kind of like what everyone was doing. But over the years, when I switched from, I was the first person to do follow along workout videos on YouTube. No one was doing follow alongs where they just kind of literally, okay, guys, let's go today. This is our workout. And then I'm actually coaching them through. And when I made that decision, I was a little hesitant because I'm like, okay, well, usually when you're, in the old times when, you shoot a workout video, you're only showing the best part of the exercise, right? You're showing the best clip of the exercise. So now my mindset had to shift and say, listen, I'm going to be dying. I'm going to be farting. I'm going to be, just doing, it's going to be me. And they're going to see me in my most vulnerable time during the workout, but I'm still coaching. I'm still guiding. And from the very first time I shot that or uploaded that video, my channel just took off. Like I was at 250, I think, before COVID. And obviously COVID did help because people weren't going to gyms. But, once, that went up to like 700, I think, within a year and a half. And those were all follow along workouts. And everyone, the response I got was like out, I'm sorry, like Danny said, you just feel that connection, right? People are connecting with you. And I know that the people who are watching the videos like what I'm doing. So those are the people I'm going to ride with. Now, on the flip side, just to jump on what Kirby said, then I started to post, I was getting 100, 200, 300K per video. And then something happened, right? Now it's only 20K. Now it's only 10K. And it's like, wait a minute, I've got all this great production through the video. And now I'm struggling, but I'm posting the same stuff. So I actually had a little bit of a resentment in doing that. So, because I haven't posted follow along workouts in a while because of that little bit of a resentment that I've just let go and will start posting. Because the strength and the connection you can get with people on YouTube when you're yourself is unparalleled. You know, like as Danny was saying, like, you know, you're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram Shorts, what have you. I don't remember anything. Yes, for that 2 seconds or 15 seconds, yeah, I'm stimulated, but then I don't. 7 videos later, I don't remember the first video that I was supposed to remember, specifically at my age. So YouTube 100%. And then I also use YouTube or Google for ads. Now that was a game changer for me. Like, that's literally grew my membership from, you know, 2,000 to 17,000, and they're qualified people. And YouTube ads are something of a it's still an open place where you can grow better than Facebook. I still struggle with Facebook ads. And so on both ends, ads wise, YouTube's fantastic, but I think YouTube's a place specifically for the connection with who you connect with and just being yourself.
I think
Alex, you're pretty on the nose with the algorithm as a former Google employee, right?
I was about to say we got Alex. Alex,
okay, Alex Costa.
I want to.
How's it going, everyone? Good morning. How you guys doing?
Hey, Alex.
You know, when I worked at YouTube, I worked there 2015 to 2018. So the algorithm, I think if I worked there last year, I probably wouldn't know what the hell's going on with the algorithm anymore. You know, it changes so quickly. But what I did learn when I worked at YouTube, and what was like the biggest mindset blocker for me, was at the time I didn't really understand how big you could get from just making YouTube videos and creating a business around a media company on YouTube. And when I worked there and I saw the creators doing that, that to me was the most inspiring thing, because I was working with really large gaming creators, and the things they were doing I never thought were possible in 2015 to 2018. You know, they were working with massive brands, they were being flown out around the world, and they were creating their own businesses, and obviously financially very well off. And that to me was extremely exciting. And that's why I pursued it so hard. And that's why I quit to do it myself full time. But nowadays, I mean, to me, I was catching on to your conversation a little bit on YouTube here before I joined. To me, YouTube is still the best. I think when you, and Danny, you know, hit it on the head perfectly. It's like, you don't even remember what you watch on short form content anymore. And I noticed that when I get recognized and guys come up to me and they say, Alex, like, I love your content. You know, you helped me with this and that. I love this video or that video. They watch my YouTube channel. But when they recognize me and they say, hey, you're that guy, the hair guy, the fashion guy, they don't even know, right? It's because they haven't really formed a connection, because they might even follow me on Instagram or TikTok, but they see my video once in a while. You know, it's very transactional in a way. It's very quick. So you don't really build that connection on short form as much as you do on YouTube. I started on YouTube I'm going to age myself, probably like 2013 or something like that, 2011. And to me, it's still the best platform. To me, it's still like my baby. I love YouTube. It's gotten tougher and tougher. It's a lot more analytical. You need a team if you want to succeed in the right way. But I think, to me, it's still the most exciting platform.
Yeah, Alex, I actually had a question for you. What role does short form play like within your business model as a whole? Like, why do you consistently post to Instagram and TikTok per se? How does that work within your entire funnel and the purpose of it in your business?
I've always just been really, for me, if there's a new platform, I jump on it immediately, just because I know that that's where the attention goes. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't move forward. But with TikTok, for example, I'm really glad that I jumped on early, right? Because most of my followers came from my early jump onto TikTok, and then it kind of fizzled out and I started growing slower and slower later on. But the growth that you get by jumping onto a platform early on is substantially faster than if you wait a little while and jump later on. So it's kind of a gamble, you know, to take time away from YouTube, put it into this new platform. And in this situation, I think it paid off for me. You know, obviously having those numbers is great for brand deals and partnerships that I've been able to close on TikTok and Instagram. Adding that on as a package deal when I close a deal with a brand for YouTube and just say, hey, we'll do YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you know, and this is how many million followers we have combined is really great. But then also look at TikTok Shop now, right? And I mean, Eric, obviously, you know, you have a massive, amazing brand. It's a very special situation that we have now with TikTok Shop, where it could be something really, really big for these brands. So, you know, TikTok is definitely kind of an outlier here, just because it's massive. It's insanely massive. And I lucked out that I jumped on early. But I mean, I still enjoy creating short form content. I do think sometimes it's a little, I don't watch it. I think it's a little mindless to watch sometimes. So you do get kind of caught on to like, oh, I just watched 10 videos and I don't even know what that was. But I enjoy creating it. Like, how can I get my point across in 15 to 30 seconds and make this video different from everything else that everyone is saying?
So really quick, guys, I want to go ahead and I'm going to drop my community in the comments. If you guys haven't checked out what we're doing over at school, I think it's pretty darn cool. So I just dropped the link over there. And I think YouTube's awesome, but community, I think, is the future over the next few years. And I know, Funk, you 100% will agree with me on community, because not only can you deeper connect with people, and I think that YouTube for me is a great place to meet people, but to continue the conversation or to have meaningful, deep conversations, I think it's communities. And I'm on school, but I think Circle, I think all these other Kajabi, whatever it may be, you know, but the idea that, you know, I'll let you, Funk, talk a little bit about community, what you're building. And I know some of you guys as well, Vladimir, you've had good, you know, connections with the guys you've been building in your community. And we can talk just, yeah, what do you think of the future of community?
Yeah, it's everything. It's everything, specifically because of what we'd gone through over the, you know, past 4 or 5 years with, you know, things that shutdowns and isolation. You know, we wrote a book called the 27 Tribe Secrets. It's because we've created kind of, my partners, they're like, they love cults, right? They studied cults, the twins. They studied cults and studied the good parts of the cults. And so when building the brotherhood, there are a lot of like psychological strategies that we kind of implement that help people stay. Obviously, results is number one, but after people get results, like after somebody gets lean and ripped and what have you, then what, right? Then what? Well, when you build a community of like-minded people who, again, are on the same journey, it's more about the community. It's more about, for us, it's the tribe. It's bigger than them, right? It's bigger than them getting their results. And what keeps them going is that connection, knowing that they're helping others, you know, knowing that they're getting there's a hierarchy. You know, once people get to phase 12, we call them an alpha OG. Then we have another hierarchy. So people strive for that. But again, when you're amongst people who, you know, have the same mindset and the same journey and are, you know, speak the same languages. I mean, we have our own language, like that no one else knows. Like if I walk down the street and I do this and because I see somebody who looks like someone inside the brotherhood and they do this, then we know already, oh, you're part of the brotherhood? Okay. So you have your own, you know, talk, your own symbols, your own rituals, all towards helping you reach your goals. But definitely that's where everything is going. If you can create a very strong, powerful community or tribe of like-minded people, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And it doesn't even matter, you know, as I mentioned in the past, like we have guys from all over the world, all religions, all backgrounds, all from everywhere. And we don't talk politics. We don't talk religion. We don't talk anything but what we do inside. No pop culture, none of that. And that keeps everyone connected. I mean, these guys are telling each other they love each other. Like, I mean, you know, like a guy from Africa is telling, you know, a guy from, you know, Toronto that when I get there, I'm going to come meet you. I love you, brother. Like and these are men over 40.
Yeah, and those Canadians got to be like, whoa, way too much. Like, you know, they're a little bit cooler over there. The Africans, they're cool. They flow with things, but
yeah, that's I mean, it's great, but definitely community is the key.
Yeah, I want to take my usual 90 seconds to sing the praises of YouTube. For kind of piggyback on some of the things we were saying. First of all, I found, what is your goal with YouTube? For me, it's to have an impact, to help men look better and live better, to put a couple dollars in Jeff's pocket, and to feel like I'm making a contribution. And also I was able to pivot from a former career. I'm a retired chiropractor, to be able to share some of my passions with other people, to do that on short form, difficult. But another reason why I always sing the praise of YouTube, and I try to encourage as many guys to start a YouTube channel. If you have any expertise, if you're a former dentist, if you're a carpenter, you have something to share. But with the YouTube, and compared to any other platform, it's a symbiotic relationship. The more money I make for YouTube, the more they make, they're going to funnel it back to me. No other social media platform has that symbiotic relationship. On top of that, I think guys need to pay attention if you're going to do content creation. The number one streaming platform on televisions is not Netflix, it's YouTube. And that's occurred in the last year or two, to where YouTube has like 30% more viewers than Netflix on streaming content. So if we're trying to build community, and with the parasocial relationship you create with long-term form, you can then transfer to developing these groups like Antonio was talking about, like Funk is talking about. It's going to be very difficult to build this sense of community, camaraderie with the 30-second YouTube short, Instagram reel. Although I don't discount those as business opportunities to take and to build your platforms. To me, I'm very bullish on YouTube, even though I've been at an inflection point where I'm not growing like I used to, but I'm still doing extremely well. I have to figure out some things. I have to kind of revamp a few things, and that's okay. But I'm 150% bullish on YouTube in the immediate future for the reason I just listed. I just wanted to throw that in there.
So one area approaching YouTube, I think a lot of people don't think of, because the average guy's like, well, why would I want to be a YouTuber or put this out there? I view it as an exercise in the same way of going to the gym. If you could do, let's take shorts, just simply record a short about your expertise or maybe something you want to get better at, talking to the camera. And it's almost like a journal of you. And there's a great book. It's called Writing is Learning. And it talks about how literally that when you write things out, it was written back in the 1930s, 40s by a Yale professor. And he talks about how that's a way of learning. And I know for me, creating videos have been a learning process. And if nothing else, whatever it is you do, if you want to sharpen your sword and get better, or maybe learn a new skill. For me, 5 years ago, I knew nothing about fragrances. Now I have my own fragrance brand. I have like unfortunately 600 bottles, which I give away in my Brotherhood of Scent community, which I'll link to in a second in there. But it's just transformed me as a person, and I've gotten better. And it's actually kind of like a written record that other people have decided to kind of go along with me on that journey.
Yeah, I think the difficult part about YouTube is actually longevity and staying relevant. So I'd actually like to hear from some of the guys that are OGs here. What are your tips for staying relevant over a long period of time? It's one thing to be kind of the new guy on the block for the first year, maybe even 2. You're kind of the new thing. You brought something new to the space. But when you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years deep, what are you doing to stay relevant in your space?
Yeah, I think for me, it was really making sure that I had that balance between the long form and the short form. At the end of the day, as much as we love YouTube and it's our favorite platform, it seems like everyone's here. You still have to have a presence on the other ones, right? Because then you're kind of bringing in, it's like top of funnel, like you're bringing in people onto your YouTube channel, or your brands, or your newsletter, or in Antonio's case as well, like his school community. So I think it's being omnipresent, but then also making sure that you're staying on top of trends, seeing what's going on with the digital world trends. For me, I try to keep it young with my team, so I have some Gen Zers in the team that help me stay young and help me with any trends and what's going on short form specifically. And then also just being curious, just doing a lot of research on what's going on YouTube, what performs well, being very analytical with your data. And nowadays, back in the day, I would wake up, a video's going live today. Okay, cool. Let me think of a thumbnail. Let me think of a title 20 minutes before the video goes live, and then I would just post it. Nowadays, we're doing like 6 to 10 thumbnails per video. We're A/B testing everything. So it's a lot more data driven, a lot, very analytical. But if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. And that's really been actually pretty fun for me. I was getting kind of honestly a little bored, I guess maybe is the right word with YouTube the past like year and a half. It was very it was just kind of a machine that was running for me, and I wasn't really that excited. But once I started to learn more about it, once Mr. Beast started to talk more about A/B testing thumbnails and the editing style changed, that was it was inspiring to me. It was exciting. It made YouTube exciting to me again. So in a way, yes, it's more difficult, but I enjoy it a lot more. I kind of like the challenge. So that's how I try to do it. I just try to see what's going on from the top guys, that are doing it outside of just fashion, from the women as well. As a matter of fact, when I started, and Antonio and Jose and Aaron, for me, I would look at the women to see what they were doing, because us guys, we were so far behind. We didn't really have anyone to look to, So I was like, what are the women doing in beauty and fashion? How can we kind of adapt that and bring that into adopt that and bring that into my audience? So that was pretty fun. So yeah, I think the burnout is definitely real, by the way. You definitely have to take breaks, make sure that you're going on some vacations and just shutting off the computer for a little while, because you can definitely get sucked into just looking at data and creating content. And a day off means one less video on the channel, which means less views. And then you kind of go down that rabbit hole. I've had those moments for sure, but I try to just think that this is a business. I try to run it from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday nowadays, as opposed to before. It was just like a 24/7 thing. I was always on. And that's been super helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, I look at staying relevant and staying interested, that you've got to, in so many ways, I feel like our YouTube channels are manifestations of ourselves, right? And, burnout and boredom is a real issue. And so, now that I've been running my channel for a while, I kind of look back and see that I kind of run in 2-year content cycles, right? So there's certain kind of, genres of content that we've focused on for 2 years that we've evolved out of into other kind of cycles. And that allows you to be continuing to evolve and be doing something different to help grow the audience, right? It allows, I think, you as a content creator to kind of pick up new interests, right? And new focuses. And then kind of supporting that is you've got to be open to experimentation. I mean, we never would have gotten into cigar content had I been myopically focused on just shining shoes. But the cigar content has been a great source of personal, just pleasure and reward, and has dramatically grown the channel. I never would have thought that would have grown into such a cornerstone of the channel had I been, trying to be deliberate. So I think it's a challenge for sure, but again, once you kind of hit that 5-year mark, I mean, that stretch from 5 to 10 years is probably, very challenging in terms of staying relevant, staying interested, and kind of going from there.
I'll jump on this as well. I've been creating videos since 2011, so it's been 13 years. I think we all go through ups and downs, but it's really nice to be able to have friends that you can reach out to that experience those ups and downs, and it insulates you from the isolation that I think you can really feel as a creator. Hence, one of the reasons I do these events. I used to do live events. I'm going to be at Vid Summit. If any of you guys are going to be there, let me know. I'm going to get there early. I'm going to stay late. That's in early September in Dallas, Texas. So it's a great conference that I go to be around other creators. But I think having friends in the space, people that, and when I mean friends, the kind of people I like to surround myself, they got your back. So a quick story, our channel was hacked, I think earlier this year. And YouTube, of course, doesn't seem to care because they're not responding to emails. You're having to literally try to reach Twitter. You're panicking. And so, somebody on my team mentioned, hey, Alex's channel had been hacked. So immediately I jump on and I realize well, I've got Alex's cell. So I just text him. I hadn't texted Alex for probably a year, but you got back to me within like 30 seconds. And you're like, hey, this is what you do. Boom, 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 boom. And I think that, you know, if I hadn't heard from you that day, because nobody else, and actually my other friend, another guy, Pat Flynn, later that day gave me the same advice that you gave. Like, this is what you need to do. You're going to have to wait. They're not going to respond for like 3 hours. Be okay with that. You know, do this, this, and this. But it's, you know, when you go through those tough times, it's great to have people that have your back. And that's, you know, if any advice to lasting long on YouTube is to have a mastermind, have a group of guys that you're tight with, who will be there for you when, you know, things get tough. And you can also talk to and celebrate, because most people don't understand. Yeah, I finally had a video that got 100,000 views in 24 hours. I'm back. And that's not something everyone gets. But, you know, if I share that with James or I share that with Vlog, you're like, man, go do it, Antonio. And how can you get to your question is going to be, how do you get to 200,000, you know, in 24 hours? And those are the kind of people you want to be around, people that lift you up and definitely help pick you up when you're down.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm just going to quickly chime in, as I've been on the platform, I guess, since 2007 or 2008. But just to like, for me, I guess a couple things. Number one, listening to your audience, right? What content do they want? But that aligns with who you are and your values. You know, like I've been saying and mimicking and saying the same thing over and over again: metabolic training, metabolic training, metabolic training. Like, that's my type of training. And so there's so many other different types of training and fads and all of these things that come out. And I stay true to, you know, my type of training, which is metabolic training, you know, whether it was for fighters, now it's for men over 40, but making sure that you're consistent with the message. And even though things are going to change, because I have seen other fitness guys jump to different types of, you know, now we're taking videos and, you know, ripping the videos apart, or, you know, or now we're doing this because this is what everyone else is doing. If that's not who you are, and you can stay consistent to who you are, it doesn't matter as the times grow. Sure, there's going to be some trends and you can give your opinion on those trends, but it's very important to say the same thing over and over again, so people know, oh, Funk Roberts, yeah, that's the guy who does metabolic training. Oh yeah, he's been consistent since day one. He's not jumping from, oh, wait a minute, two weeks ago you were doing this type of training, now you're telling us that this type of training is the best. Oh, wait a minute, 2 weeks ago you said this, now we're over here. Like, you know, you start to lose people when you're not yourself. And starting your channel to being yourself, so you don't have to like always put on this mask every time you turn on the camera, is so freeing and allows you to say the same things over. Like, people will ask me, hey, can you do a bodybuilding type workouts? Like, well, hey man, that's not my niche. I don't do bodybuilding workouts. And that's, you know, like, and that, even though they're a little bit upset, they understand that that's not my niche. I'm not a big bodybuilder guy, so I'm not going to fake the funk, as I say, and do something that doesn't align with what I actually teach. And I will push them. Oh, go to, you know, MP Renaissance, or go here. That's what they do. And that they appreciate that. But I also want to double up on what Antonio says, and building that network of people in the industry who we can always lean on each other when things go good, when things go bad, or when we need help. Knowing you have those people is so important for longevity.
Thank you, Funk. Jeff, you had 2 jobs. I mean, YouTube, and you were also working full time as a chiropractor for quite a while, right?
Well, actually, not as long as I thought I was going to have to, because my YouTube channel took off pretty quickly. But what I did, which was not probably sustainable when I first started, I did a video every day for 2 years in a row. That wasn't sustainable. But one of the things I want to recommend guys do, and it's kind of piggybacking a little bit what Funk said, what I try to do is to make the balance between what I want to do and what my audience wants to do. I'll double down on the videos that I love to do that the audience responds to. Because what I found out is when I was chasing the algorithm and when I had that balance off, that led to quicker burnout. So what, especially we were talking a little bit about some of our veteran, even if you've done 2 or 3 years, well, I'll go back and say, what video did well three years ago that I haven't updated? That's going to be a topic that I won't get burnt out on. I have a passion for, and the audience has responded to. So that's how I try to keep the balance. I'll do 2 videos that responded well. Then I'll do one just to see if I can get a new audience. And then I'll do another one for me. So that's how I kind of reduce some of the burnout. But it also allows me to follow the audience, because on YouTube, you have to follow the audience. So I double down on videos that I have passion for that the audience has responded to. So that tends to work for me. It's a win-win for me and the audience.
Marcelo, how long have you been on? You said 5 years, right?
3.
3 years. Okay.
So I'm listening to you guys and I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. Gentlemen, listening to everyone's advice and listening to the direction that because I'm going on a lot of gut feel as to what I think I should be doing. And so the advice that's here, you guys are like, thank you. It's awesome. This is, I don't know what the audience is doing, but I mean, for me, this is like spectacular. This is gorgeous stuff that I'm learning here. So thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you. It's what, 3 o'clock in the morning there?
It's 1 o'clock. Yeah. So I may need to leave, Antonio, because I'm like, I wasn't sure how long. I thought it was going to be an hour. I'm like, we could do an hour, but I'm impressed. And I'm looking at your comments. I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's here. You guys it's an awesome engagement from everybody and the conversation. I don't want to go. That's the truth. I'm listening to everything here and I am enjoying the great advice that's being shared. And I'm enjoying this company.
Well, thank you for being here, man. I appreciate it.
We'll keep you.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap things up here in about 5 minutes. But I just wanted to.
Otherwise, I'll have FOMO.
Did anyone have anything they wanted to jump in on? James, do you have anything you're like aching to say?
Well, I just want to say thank you for organizing this event. I can't remember who mentioned it earlier. I think it was Aaron. Antonio is a great connector of people, which I think is a tremendous compliment to somebody. So it's been great to connect with you guys and read the comments. And I hope that we're all in touch from now on.
Yeah, I'll be dropping in everyone's channel down there. So I'm going to drop a massive comment here in a second. But Kirby, I appreciate you popping in. And Danny, you didn't get to, probably should have got you in earlier, but I appreciate you being able to pop in. You're out in California, though, so this was an early morning for you, right?
Yeah, no, I had to get up early for this one, man. I'm usually in bed still, so. No, but I was going to say, it's good doing this. It would also be awesome just to get everyone together, even on the back end, to talk like YouTube strategy, business, that type of thing. I don't want to bore the audience too much with that, but I nerd out on that stuff all the time. I'm always analyzing trends on YouTube, breaking down stuff. I think there's a methodical and strategic approach to all of it. But I was going to say, in terms of the audience, why don't we, Antonio, it's your stream, so don't let me hijack it. But I was going to say, why don't we end it with everyone going around and kind of just giving like one actionable tip that the audience could implement today on any subject, mindset, style, whatever it is, like whatever your niche is, whatever stands out to you.
Danny, you start. You got the first one.
Let's do it. Damn, man, put me on the spot.
Exactly.
Like
you bring it up. I'm like, okay, there we go.
Okay, so I do a lot of coaching calls for dating and relationship stuff. So one thing I've noticed though in general is guys tend to overthink things a lot and they don't value themselves very much. There's a lot of people that have like self-esteem and self-worth issues. And this creates a whole like plethora of issues. I could go on for like 2 hours about this, but I would say that number one, most of you guys are much more like high value than you think. A lot of guys tend to overlook things about themselves because of social media. YouTube's included in that, Instagram, all this stuff. You see all these perfect people. Everyone's living this awesome lifestyle. This guy's got a McLaren. This guy makes 80K a month, all this stuff. So you start to just only look at your perceived negative traits and attributes, and you start to get down on yourself, and you actually miss the things that are really strong and good about you. I had a coaching call the other day with a guy. This guy looked like a damn male model, but he was sitting there going, I just don't think I measure up, man. I see these guys on like Instagram and stuff, and I just think that I need to fix some things. I need to kind of like fix this thing about my hairline and this about my skin. And I'm like, dude, hold on, step back, bigger picture here. You're better looking than 90% of the population, but he can't see that. And I see that a lot. The second thing to attach to that is I see guys they get stuck in their head a lot. They're afraid to do certain things. They're afraid to approach a girl. They're afraid to try a business. They're afraid to do this or that. What I say with that is flood yourself with so much action that overthinking becomes like an impossibility. You want to get in motion, taking so much action towards the things that you want to improve, that there is no time to overthink it and get in your head and all that stuff. If you see a girl out in public, go. Like as soon as you see her, just go up, hi. Like it doesn't have to be some sick perfect line. Just
unless
say
it's
something.
My wife. And then,
yeah, don't do
yeah,
anything. Don't do that. Bad idea. But in general, take action, take more action, recognize your value, stop comparing yourself so much to people on social media. You got to remember that on social media, there's a very curated image. You're seeing everyone's highlight reel. You're not seeing who they actually are. So don't get in your head. Like you have more value than you think. We notoriously undervalue ourselves is what I would say, and just take so much action, identify your weaknesses or things that you want to improve, and just take so much action that you have no room to sit there and overthink and get stuck in your head about it.
Love it. Thank you. Let's jump over. Alex, what about you?
I'm going to piggyback off of what you said, Antonio, and community I think is super important. And I'm sure probably if I had to guess, the majority of you started your YouTube channels or social media channels, I'm sure people kind of look at you funny. You know, they're like, oh, who do you think you are to try to build an audience, you know, and try to become someone online and talk and be a coach on this specific subject, whatever it is that you're talking about. And that goes for everything that you do in life. Sometimes you get hit with those, you know, that negativity from people around you. So just make sure that you're building a really good circle of friends around you who are supporting you, who are for you, and who are cheering for you, instead of those people who are going to bring you down. And I think there's a lot of doubt out there already. So if you're taking a risk on a job opportunity, a dating opportunity, business opportunity, and then people are bringing you down and being negative about it, maybe that person's not supposed to be your friend. Maybe you need better friends, a better circle of people around you. Community is everything. And I don't know who said it, but it's so true. Antonio, you're such a good connector. You know, I think doing YouTube or social media in general, it's a very interesting job in the beginning because it gets kind of lonely if you work from home and it's just you, right? So it's a one-man show. Like I was shooting, editing, researching, posting, all of it myself. And then all of these people were watching, but it only took one person to create all of that. No one was really helping me. And it was so good to be able to build a community and like meet you, Antonio, meet Aaron. When we went to Menfluential in, I think 2018, I met you guys. And it just expanded, you know, my network, and I was able to confide in you guys and ask you if anything was going on with YouTube. We would have maybe like every 6 months we would catch up, but it was still enough, and it's still super helpful to me and my career personally. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for putting this together. It's been awesome chatting with you guys and these legends here today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and for all the guys here, we'll do another set of masterminds here in the fall, and we have a lot of fun with them. So I'll reach out. We're probably going to do one on YouTube just simply because I love geeking out, and a lot of you guys do, about the numbers and growing. But Funk, man, I think that you could really, if you guys didn't, I mean, you've been crushing it, Funk, over on just paid ads on YouTube, which I think is a hidden gem for anyone that's a business owner. I know Eric Vanderholtz needs to probably speak with you, and you know, maybe even Kirby with his business. And yeah, you've just been crushing it, man. So it was a surprise to get you on. I'm very happy we were able to get you here.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I mean, for me, YouTube, like I had mentioned in the past, you know, that's definitely the go-to. Even now, when we just restarted our ads, and I'm doing the Facebook side, and I've got my YouTube guy doing the YouTube side. And if you just look at the stats and the stress, the stats are low on Facebook. Stress is high for me. You know, on our Google ads, bringing 100 new people every single day. No stress, right? Just one ad. That's it. We don't, just one ad running to the audience that we look to, and that's it. I think that, you know, I'm trying to hang on to Facebook, but the writing's on the wall right now when it comes to ads and spend. You know, just take that spend and put it into what's working, which is what we did in the past. So yeah, loving YouTube for that. And you know, this really solidified this connection here, solidified that I am going to get back on YouTube, follow along workouts once a week. throw that resentment that I had a bit and just do what I love to do, which is, provide workouts and info to my men over 40.
I love it, man. Love it. Let's jump over Marcelo. You're holding on, man. You haven't fallen asleep on us yet.
I have not. No, I have not. Really quickly. So you mentioned earlier Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics. So as a closing line and for everyone here, and I really like what you said at the opener, Antonio. And let me just say again, everyone's saying the same thing. Thank you for connecting us. I really appreciate this opportunity to be here. So thank you for that, and also to connect with everyone here too. So this is a comment that I have for myself. And it basically says, not to give in to adversity, not to trust prosperity, and always take full note and always take full note of Fortune's habit of behaving just as she pleases. And that was Marcus Aurelius, and where he was a Roman emperor. And this is for my crew. So I have a crew of editors, or 2 young editors and I put this up for them. And it basically says, happiness does not consist in laziness. In labor and in sweat does each person use their gifts. And so that's a little bit for me, but it's a little bit for all of us here in the office. Just to, sometimes you hit a wall and you think, I can't do this, or I'm getting frustrated. And I'm hearing from Danny, some of the comments being made. But it's actually an effort and energy that I find that I get a resurge of power and boost, and it opens up new opportunities for me. Thank you again, Antonio.
Yeah, pleasure. I mean, again, Marcus Aurelius, his meditations he wrote not for the world, but for himself, and somehow they survived. But if you study your Greek, you study ancient history, I love it because the problems we face are not new. You look at Hercules. Before he was Hercules, he was tempted. He had 2 paths he could go down. One of them was that, the beautiful, hey, just go down, make the easy decision, the life of pleasure. And the other one, was the very difficult path. But he could see that this person taking that path would turn him into, it was the trials of Hercules that made Hercules. And I think within each of us, like the courage to face those trials, and to go through it, that defines us as men. Jeff, any parting words?
Yeah, I want to piggyback a little bit on what Danny was talking about, and leave the audience with something that's worked for me well the last couple of years. Even an old dog like me is learning. It's an acronym somebody shared with me a couple of years ago, and it's kind of transformed my life. I don't know if people have heard of it. It's MINS, M-I-N-S, the most important next step. A lot of guys out there are always in their head, and I'm a cliche guy. So one of my other favorite cliches is perfection is the enemy of good. What I want guys to do, no matter what you want to do, whether it's dating, business, school, work, do the first step. Just go, just start. I could have started my YouTube channel 18 months before I did, but I kept saying, well, I don't know this yet, or I don't know the algorithm, or I don't have my camera, or I don't know how to edit. And I had a friend of mine said, Jeff, you've been talking about this YouTube channel for so long, just start the damn channel. And that's what I want guys to just do. Think about the most important next step. If you have trouble working out, put your outfit out for the next day, set your alarm, pick the gym, think about the workout. Just think about the most important next step. Get out of your head, and don't let perfection be the enemy of good. Just start. Trust me, results will come if you take that first step.
Love it, man. Love it. Kirby.
Yeah, this is some great advice. I'm, making mental notes here. I love the MINS acronym, because I think it's so important to just be in action, right? It's easy to paralyze ourselves. I'd say often that I never would have started the Hanger Project had I been required to put together a business plan. At some point you just have to do it. And, I had an uncle, who gave me great advice that, basically, that first step is the hardest step to take. After you take that first step, all of the other steps, follow along, right? So what's that minimum important next step? Here the kids are awake. The only thing that I would add is being unapologetic. I think that, You know, you just have to be unapologetic about what it is that's important to you. You know, if you enjoy dressing up, you know, whenever someone says, you know, why are you overdressed? You know, be unapologetic about it. You know, I think that, you know, we live our entire adolescent life trying to be just like everyone else. You know, whenever one becomes an adult, I think, you know, wisdom is to realize that being just like everyone else is death. And so being unapologetic about who you are, what it is you believe in, and how it is that you want to live your life is one of the most empowering mindsets that you can give yourself permission to hold.
Vlad, what do you got to add, man?
With me, I like to tell people things that aren't too comfortable to hear, or like things that they don't usually hear from other people. But those are things that serve me greatly. So one thing I like to tell people is compliments are good, right? A lot of people, when they get dressed, they're thinking about the compliments, but you can't really use compliments as a barometer of good style, you know? And that's one thing a lot of guys fall into, you know, like they'll come to me and ask me, does this go together? And I'll be like, not really, you know, you could probably do it better. And they'd be like, but I get so many compliments on this, you know? And I'm like, that doesn't really mean anything, you know, because nowadays nobody's really dressing up anymore, really, you know? So back in the days when we all used to dress up, but I'm saying I probably wasn't even alive at that time. But when you look at like old baseball footage, right? Like you look at the stadiums, they're all full with people wearing suits, wearing hats. Like back in those days, when you got a compliment, it really meant something because everybody was dressed up. You know what I'm saying? So for somebody to pay you a compliment, that means that you were really killing it. Nowadays, just wearing a suit is, you know, you're pretty much ahead of everybody else. You know, imagine showing up to a baseball stadium in a suit. You know, everybody's going to compliment you regardless of how bad the suit looks, you know, because you're in a suit. So that's half the battle. So I tell people it's good to get compliments, but you shouldn't really use that meaning to mean that you're really killing it, you know, because that's not really what it means, you know. So one thing, I'm not saying that compliments are bad, but compliments is not a sign that, yeah, you're definitely killing it. So don't use compliments as a barometer of good style. You should consider more the source of the compliment, because most people don't really know that much anyway when it comes to who's really dressed well, who's not. They just see you in a suit, you know what I mean? So once again, compliments aren't bad, but don't dress up for compliments. Dress up because you want to dress well. That's how I feel.
100%, man.
Yeah.
Hey, so really quick, I don't know who this random jogger is. little tidbit about Mr. Marino is that every single day, like 3 times a day, he just likes to go for walks and runs. And does anyone hear this guy? No, like he's trying to.
He's still on the iPhone 3,
muffled.
man.
One thing,
What's going on, man?
yeah. So one thing I love about Aaron is that he always reminds me that I need to be selling. So I appreciate it. He wants me to, hey, Mission Fragrances, you can use that code down there. $200 off. That's not. You're always like, you got to make money for your house, man. You're always like, go sell. Quit being so, you know.
Oh well, I tried.
We can hear you now. Yeah. What's your words of wisdom, man?
Okay, okay, sorry, little technical issues. Buy Mission Fragrance. Thank me later. Use that discount code. Don't wait. Second thing is nobody cares. Get to work. Peace. Have a great day. Bye.
Yep. All right. See you, Aaron.
Later.
James, let's jump over to you, man.
Sure. I want to piggyback on something that Kirby said, which would be, if you want to do something a little bit out of the ordinary, maybe you have this business idea, maybe you want to be a content creator, lean into the things that make you weird. My mom used to ridicule me and say like, oh, you want to be like an old guy from an old movie. I'm like, yeah, I do want to be Cary Grant. And then I worked in secret really on my YouTube channel. I didn't tell anybody about it until it became successful. So then 9 months later, I was like, oh, by the way, that thing I was telling you about, it's my job now, and here's some money for your new car. So that was kind of like a cool moment for me, and it taught me that like all of us guys on this call right now, there's something about us that makes us a little bit different from ordinary people, just as there is something that makes you different from ordinary people. Being able to discover that and embrace it is really helpful. And if you have to do it in secret at first so that you don't worry about what other people think, I actually think that's a really powerful thing. You can use your embarrassment, for want of a better word, to your advantage.
Well, thank everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I'll wrap this up by just saying, gratitude is a great way to start your day. All of us have something that we can be thankful for maybe someone that cares about us, a relationship we're in, for our health, for just simply to be here one more day. But an action step for me, is definitely, I try to say thank you quite a bit, whether it's people in my home that assist me, and we've got 11 people right now in the house with 1.5 bathrooms. So I will let you guys know, when you got a situation like that, the shower seems to be open only at 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., which is a great motivator to wake up early. But I'm thankful that I'm able to take in my family from Ukraine when the war started, and we're still having them. But I'm also, just being, I find gratitude for me puts me in a great state of mind, especially when things, there's a lot of other things that you're like frustrated with. But I'm very grateful, for those of you guys that could make it today, and for those of you guys that were here earlier and had to head out. But everyone, I'll put you in touch with each other if you want anyone to reach out. I think there's some great connections that could happen here. And for those of you guys out in the audience, we really appreciate you. And I think the best compliment you can pay us is simply taking action on what we talked about and living your best day today with what you got. So that's it, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Antonio.
Yep. Peace out, guys.
Everyone.
Sure.
Bye, Antonio.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Antonio.
See you, mate.
Bye, guys. You were the first one here, and you're the last one out, Marcelo. Hey, guys. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. Don't forget, $200 off Mission Fragrances. This thing is going to disappear, this code. So use it or lose it. I'm proud of this. Passion project, honor, courage, commitment, scent triggers that help you to become the man you know yourself to be. There's some pretty cool other things we've got. Just go over to missionfragrances.com. Check out really quick. I'll leave up that code for a little while, but it's not going to be around forever. And I know a lot of you guys in the comments have already grabbed your Mission Fragrance set. We've got a limited number. And yeah, I'm wrapping up sales on them here very soon. So that's it, guys. Take care, and see you around.